Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for another episode of whatever I'm making. Yeah. Okay, so this video has actually been in the process for quite some time, but then some school stuff happened and I've been delayed. But now it's finally coming along, and I mentioned it on Twitter. So it's gonna be kind of my fantasy LCS team. So that means only NA and EU LCS players will be available to the picking phase here. So why don't we just start off by saying that I will not have, I will not judge on like personalities, because I can't do that. I do not have enough insight into this, and of course I do not have full analytics, so I will not be able to take everything into account. But I will be able to take what I feel it would be a pretty solid roster compared to how I feel like they would fit together and what they do in their respective teams. So, first up, I will take a look at supports. For supports, we have actually quite a few options. We do have people like X-Special, who are probably, I would say, NA's best support right now. You have the Aframo, you have Yellowstar. There are quite a few good people to really fill this role, but what I really want is not someone that can make all of the plays. I do not need some super highly aggressive all-in support that are just there to make flashy plays. I need someone that can be reliable and consistent, but still fill his role and kind of let the AD carry be the main man in the role, or in the bot lane, I mean. So I have decided to actually go for Lemonation. Lemonation is a player that I think will fit pretty well together with our AD carry, which I will talk about in a bit. The way that he plays is he can play aggressive, but he mostly adapts to what really fits his AD carry the best. And something that I would like to have on my team is pretty much what he is known for. He's known for walking around with the C9 notebook. And he does a lot of the pick and ban phase, he do all of the pre-game analytics and so on and so forth. So I need that to my team. I think that we will have a decent amount of shot calls as well as high level flashy plays, and the solo laners will do fine. So I just want someone that can be consistent and follow up whenever that is needed. Alright, so next will be AD carry. So the bot lane will then be Lemonation, and I'm sorry for that sound. And a player that was hard to pick actually, because we do have obviously a lot of good AD carries. You have people like Doublelift, who are just known for his, CLGs. Buff the Doublelift comp, right? We have those, we have Reckless. So it was hard to pick. But I actually want someone that is currently not in the LCS, which might be really weird, but I want Freeze. Freeze is a player that I have been watching for a long time now. And ever since they reformed and created the new NIP team, I was so happy. I was just like, yes, we will have a super team. We will have a great combo bot lane with the Mythia Freeze lane. And that bot lane was incredibly strong. Incredibly strong. Because Freeze, he is able to do a lot of carrying by himself. He can carry and put your team ahead, but he will never be the hard solo carry. That is something that I've seen. When both Mythi and Nukeduck got banned and Cole left the team, so it was basically just Alex Ick and Freeze left on that super team, he was not able to really fully carry the game by himself. So that is something that we can differentiate him and Doublelift, right? Doublelift will just get buffed and then he will just go in and try to carry the game by himself. Whilst Freeze have a playstyle that really says, okay, if we get the advantage and I know that we are mechanically stronger, so they're gonna try to pressure the lane. But if they feel like, oh well, they're gonna be ahead or they have a stronger lane than us, then he is perfectly fine with just playing it safe, farming up. And that is something that a lot of AD carriers kinda failed to do and achieve, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of the AD carriers are just like, well, we need to fight, and if we can't win, then we're fucked, and then they're just gonna try to fight again and again. And we have seen that in Worlds already, and we have seen other instances of that, and sometimes that can really lose you a game if you play way too aggressive at the bot lane and just lose and die over and over again. But Freeze, he is perfectly fine with farming up and do kind of his own thing. And what is important to note is that he is, I would say, this good without too much LCS experience. I'm not really sure if he even got LCS experience. I have not checked too far into that. But he is a great player, and with more LCS experience, he would just skyrocket, I think. I think he would easily become better than Reckless. But I mean, I'm one that I do not even think that Reckless is that good even. But that might just be me. So yeah, I think he's going to be a solid pick there, and he can really do some great stuff, especially if he plays together with an experienced partner like Lemonation. Fuck, I have it here in my eye. How? It's like sitting right. Got it. I think I got it. Alright. Okay. Sidetracking. Our mid lane. Is this even a pick? I mean, we have Björgersen. No, that's about it. That's about the only competition to Froggen. Froggen is my main man. He is a great guy, and of course we share almost the same name. I mean, Henrik Hansen and Henrik Riese Hansen, right? It's pretty close, I would say. So, yeah, he is pretty much the only choice that I can really go for. Okay, so Björgersen is known for flashy plays, right? Or people are like, oh, Björgersen, he can hard carry, he can do some shot calling. But we already know that Froggen do a lot of the shot calling. Froggen is a strong shot caller. And, or at least that's what I have experienced. I'm not, I should not be the one to say that this is the right, but I'm pretty sure that that's what I've heard, that Froggen is the shot caller of Alliance. I'm probably, I hope that is correct. If not, I'm really stupid. Anyway, so the difference here is that on their peak levels, Björgersen is like here, and Froggen is probably somewhere in like issue. They're pretty much the same, right? But the thing here is that Froggen is such a clutch player. Froggen does not really break into nerfs, and he consistently performs at the top level, while Björgersen is like dipping really like down a lot. And you don't want that. I want consistency. I actually value consistency over top peak. Because if you have a team that can peak really high and maybe beat the best Korean team, that's not really gonna pay off. I mean, like, if they can do that, if they even get there, but without consistency, they're not gonna be, like, if you get into the semis, if you're, like, lucky enough to get into the semis, and then your team just like slumps and you just lose, and yeah, then you're fucked. So I want consistency, and Froggen brings both skill, consistency, and shot calling, as well as his playstyle really says that, well, if my bot lane is behind, Freeze, as I mentioned, he can farm up, and Froggen is very capable of just saying, well, let's just stall the game, let's just play it out, and he just sits there and just clears the wave after wave and just farms up himself and like stole the game into the late game, bringing Freeze into the fray. So honestly, I think that he is a really good pick, and I don't think there is any competition there. Okay, moving on to the jungle. Jungle, okay, we have actually quite a few picks here to go from. I feel like I'm missing one, but anyway, my three kind of choices here were Jankos, Meteos, and Ko. I know there was one more that I were missing out on. It was not Alliance's jungler, it was not Shook. Ah, shit. Not LMQ. I'm not sure. I don't think it was LMQs, but LMQs. No, it wasn't. Anyway, let's start by taking a look at those. Okay, Jankos is, I think, not, without being, I don't think he's really, words. I don't think Jankos is actually contested for being the best jungler in Europe. I think that is pretty much a fact right now. So that's something. Jankos is a really strong player, but so and Ko is top 3. I would definitely rate Ko to be top 3, and he's only 16 years old. He's playing for Challenger Team Gamers 2 right now, Ocelot's team. He's an incredibly strong player, but he is really immature though. But of course I mentioned that I would not take that into account, but Jankos is just a lot stronger. Svenskeren is the player that I forgot. Svenskeren really, he knows how to step up, and he is a great player. So it really came down to either Jankos or Meteos. But yeah, or Svenskeren, Jankos, and Meteos. So Svenskeren, I don't pref him. Personally I don't pref him. I prefer Jankos over Svenskeren. So Meteos, what he brings to the table, okay? Say that we have shot calling from Froggen. What we already know that Meteos does for Cloud9 is that he do a lot of the early game calling. He do shot calling early game, and he takes care of buff calling, buffs and dragon, buff dragon baron. Yeah, buff dragon baron. That is the things that he call, as well as some early game objectives. I think he takes some of the early game, and that really fits into our playstyle. If we now can get early game shot caller, late game shot caller, and then we have an elimination that does all of the pre-game stuff, as well as Meteos being able to. He really prefers the hard carry junglers. For a long time, Nasus was like the way to play. Of course, not anymore, and I think Meteos suffered a lot from that, and for quite a while, he were really slumping when he was working on adapting. But I think that he adapted rather quickly, and now he is pretty much not back to the same level. He's like a bit under, but still he is performing very strongly, and I think that with the right team behind him, he can really make pressure where he wants to, and he knows where to be in the right time. I think that is something that differentiates him from a lot of the other LCS junglers. He knows where and when to put pressure. So I'm just gonna drop Meteos into the bag here and move on to the top lane. Top lane, we have pretty much 3 choices here. We have Freddy 1, 2, 3. I think that's correct, right? Anyway, Freddy, we have Balls, and we have Dyrus. Freddy is a player that, at least during Worlds, stepped up amazingly. I mean, he has consistently been a strong player in LCS, but he has never been recognized for it, and I think that's a big and massive, like, that is really sad. That is really, really sad that he had not been noticed as much. But he were able to step up during Worlds, and that was amazing that he had such a breakthrough there. But we have also Dyrus and Balls. Dyrus and Balls are known for being the kind of laners that never loses their lane, and they are not too aggressive. Honestly, I think that their playstyle is a bit similar, although champion pool wise they're a bit different. We already know that Balls, he really prefers Rumble, which currently is like a massive pick in a group of death, I think. Yeah, I think that's the correct grip. Like, Rumble was picked so much, or like either picked or banned away, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get to watch everything today. So Balls, he's a really strong player right now, but I think Dyrus, his champion pool, and his consistency level, as well as he is really able to just step up and carry the game if you have to. And I think that will be like kind of decisive feature that he have over Balls. I'm not saying that Balls are not able to carry, because I have seen that happen, but I honestly trust Dyrus to do it a lot more than I do Balls. So Balls is going to be my very last, or like my second pick there, but Dyrus is going to be the pick that we take for the top lane. And then with this team, we're going to have Lemonation as a support, Freeze as an AD carry, Frog in mid lane, Meteos in the jungle, and Dyrus in the top lane. So I think that overall brings a pretty solid team with a lot of consistency. Yeah, I don't think that was anything more. I hope that it didn't get too long. 15 minutes is approximately correct. I know that this video was kind of shady and not too great, but I tried my best. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys agree with my team. If not, please tell me why, and tell me your favorite team. What do you guys want to see as a super team?